This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building. This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building.
The story of Jamaica has never been confined to its shores. It lives in Brixton, Toronto, New York and beyond. Wherever Jamaicans have carried their resilience, rhythm and relentlessness, ambition. Yet today a powerful shift is underway. A new generation of the diaspora is turning back, not out of nostalgia, but with purpose. They're returning to build, to invest, to transform the land of their birth. This is not charity, it is strategy, it is nation building. At the centre of this movement stands Dr Henley Morgan, a man whose life offers both a blueprint and a provocation. His journey is not simply inspiring, it is instructive. It shows what becomes possible when the Jamaican diaspora's knowledge, global exposure and deep local commitment converge with discipline and vision. Dr. Morgan did not approach Jamaica with sentiment alone. He approached it with structure. As founder and executive chairman of the Agency for Inner-City Renewal, or AIR, he rejected the exhausted model of dependency-driven aid and asked a harder question. What if communities like Trenchtown were not problems to be fixed, but assets to be activated? That single shift in thinking changed everything. Through AIR, Dr. Morgan introduced business-orientated solutions to spaces long dominated by charity. Social enterprises replaced handout. Business incubators nurtured local talent. Micro-enterprise support empowered residents to generate income rather than wait for assistance. Cultural revitalization project turned Jamaica's rich musical heritage into an economic engine. What others saw as hardship, he saw as opportunity, raw, unrefined, but filled with potential.
Yes.
Here lies the lesson for the Jamaican diaspora. Too often, returning home is framed as a sacrifice. It is not. Approached correctly, it is one of the most powerful investments a person can make. The Jamaican diaspora carries what Jamaica urgently needs: exposure to global systems, access to capital, networks, and a mindset forged by competition at the highest level. But without structure, that advantage is squandered. Dr. Morgan's work makes clear that impact requires organization, not just intention. Dr. Morgan's vision of Jamaica as a social enterprise country is more than a slogan. It's a strategic framework. Imagine a nation where every community challenge is treated as a business opportunity, where unemployment sparks enterprise creation, where culture fuels industry, and where local ownership displaces external dependency. This is not theory. Through his consultation and practical models, Dr. Henley Morgan has shown it can and will be done. His book, My Trenchtown Journey, Lessons in Social Entrepreneurship and Community Transformation, reinforces this message powerfully. It is at once a memoir and a manual, offering hard-won insight to leaders, policymakers and practitioners alike. It strips away the illusion that transformation is easy, while proving without question that it is achievable. And for the Jamaican diaspora, the implications are clear. Returning to Jamaica must mean more than remittances and occasional philanthropy. Both matter, but neither is sufficient. The future demands builders, individuals willing to establish enterprises, transfer skills, mentor local talent, and embed themselves in the economic life of their communities. It demands people who understand that sustainable change is not delivered from the outside, it is constructed from within. This is a defining moment. Jamaica does not lack talent, it lacks scale. It does not lack ideas, it lacks coordinated execution. Diaspora is uniquely positioned to bridge that gap, not only if it moves beyond passive support and commits to active participation. Dr. Henley Morgan legacy is a call to action. He has shown that transformation is possible when discipline meets vision, when business meets community, and when purpose overrides comfort. The question now is simple. Will the Jamaican diaspora follow his lead? Because the future of Jamaica will not be decided by circumstance. It will be built by those bold enough to return, not merely to remember where they came from, but to redefine where the nation is going. Praise Jah, Rastafari.
This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building. This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building.
The story of Jamaica has never been confined to its shores. It lives in Brixton, Toronto, New York and beyond. Wherever Jamaicans have carried their resilience, rhythm and relentlessness, ambition. Yet today a powerful shift is underway. A new generation of the diaspora is turning back, not out of nostalgia, but with purpose. They're returning to build, to invest, to transform the land of their birth. This is not charity, it is strategy, it is nation building. At the center of this movement stands Dr. Henley Morgan, a man whose life offers both a blueprint and a provocation. His journey is not simply inspiring, it is instructive. It shows what becomes possible when the Jamaican diaspora's knowledge, global exposure and deep local commitment converge with discipline and vision. Dr. Morgan did not approach Jamaica with sentiment alone. He approached it with structure. As founder and executive chairman of the Agency for Inner-City Renewal, or AIR, he rejected the exhausted model of dependency-driven aid and asked a harder question. What if communities like Trenchtown were not problems to be fixed, but assets to be activated? That single shift in thinking changed everything. Through AIR, Dr. Morgan introduced business-orientated solutions to spaces long dominated by charity. Social enterprises replaced handout. Business incubators nurtured local talent. Micro-enterprise support empowered residents to generate income rather than wait for assistance. Cultural revitalization project turned Jamaica's rich musical heritage into an economic engine. What others saw as hardship, he saw as opportunity, raw, unrefined, but filled with potential.
Yes.
Here lies the lesson for the Jamaican diaspora. Too often, returning home is framed as a sacrifice. It is not. Approached correctly, it is one of the most powerful investments a person can make. The Jamaican diaspora carries what Jamaica urgently needs: exposure to global systems, access to capital, networks, and a mindset forged by competition at the highest level. But without structure, that advantage is squandered. Dr. Morgan's work makes clear that impact requires organization, not just intention. Dr. Morgan's vision of Jamaica as a social enterprise country is more than a slogan. It's a strategic framework. Imagine a nation where every community challenge is treated as a business opportunity, where unemployment sparks enterprise creation, where culture fuels industry, and where local ownership displaces external dependency. This is not theory. Through his consultation and practical models, Dr. Henley Morgan has shown it can and will be done. His book, My Trenchtown Journey, Lessons in Social Entrepreneurship and Community Transformation, reinforces this message powerfully. It is at once a memoir and a manual, offering hard-won insight to leaders, policymakers, and practitioners alike. It strips away the illusion that transformation is easy, while proving without question that it is achievable. And for the Jamaican diaspora, the implications are clear. Returning to Jamaica must mean more than remittances and occasional philanthropy. Both matter, but neither is sufficient. The future demands builders, individuals willing to establish enterprises, transfer skills, mentor local talent, and embed themselves in the economic life of their communities. It demands people who understand that sustainable change is not delivered from the outside, it is constructed from within. This is a defining moment. Jamaica does not lack talent, it lacks scale. It does not lack ideas, it lacks coordinated execution. Diaspora is uniquely positioned to bridge that gap, but only if it moves beyond passive support and commits to active participation. Dr. Henley Morgan's legacy is a call to action. He has shown that transformation is possible when discipline meets vision, when business meets community, and when purpose overrides comfort. The question now is simple. Will the Jamaican diaspora follow his lead? Because the future of Jamaica will not be decided by circumstance. It will be built by those bold enough to return, not merely to remember where they came from, but to redefine where the nation is going. Praise Jah, Rastafari.
This is not.
Oh, yeah. Did you like that intro video? Yeah. Keynote speaker later on in approximately, 30 minutes' time with our keynote speaker, Dr. Henley Morgan. He will discuss with us what it is to be a social entrepreneur. Oh, yeah. It will be fantastic. I just want to say, I've had such a fantastic few days since the last time I was with you. What I've been amongst are ordinary people who are truly inspired. And that inspiration goes on and on and on. Because this is the Motivator Show. So this is where we translate our words into action. And where success is ours for the taking. Well done. Good to see you all. Good to see you. We've got another inspirational podcast for you today. Stay with us. In 30 minutes' time, we'll have the keynote speaker. But between now and then, now you understand, the Motivator Show is a campaigning platform. Issues you don't hear in other places are heard here on the Motivator Show. But of course, it would not be the same if I didn't spend just a few minutes acknowledging a few of our past contributors. Okay. And I know that you appreciate many of them, and they've been truly inspired human beings. And very often when I say at this point is that we don't judge people by what they say. We judge them by what they do. Remember, the very motto, premise of these shows is, of course, to translate words into action. So let me just read out a few of our past contributors I think you will appreciate and acknowledge have been truly inspirational. Let's start with our Jelly Chinyere, yes? The power of their voices, the storytellers, the oral tradition, the African oral tradition. Wasn't she fantastic? And wasn't she an example of that tradition which is gaining traction, is gaining ground again? People are studying their history, studying their culture, studying their tradition, and teaching others across the world, across the diaspora, reminding them of their roots, culture, and tradition. Yes, Jelly. Keep up the good works. She was truly inspirational. I received many inquiries about her activities, and I'm immensely proud that she was able and continues her remarkable work. What I should do at this point, of course, is just remind you, she talked about the storytelling festival, you recall. And that storytelling festival was designed to encourage people to come along and hear their truth, to hear their history, to better understand themselves, okay? And later on, we'll give you more details about that wonderful storytelling festival. It will be on your screen soon. And I want to say to Jelly, thank you. Because you truly inspired so many. Many were inspired by you, and many will continue to be inspired by you. We want you to succeed. In fact, let me do it now. I'll put it on the screen now. Details of the Storytelling Festival. Here we go. There you are. It's scheduled from the 23rd to the 28th of July. The Storytelling Festival. We inspire vision with the oral tradition. And as you can see, it will be, if you go to the website, that's www.shanti-chai or chi.com. So you see it on the screen. And we want to reach out to her. It's info@shanti, SHANTI hyphen chai, CHI.com. So I remember, the Storytelling Festival will inspire vision with the oral tradition will be on the 23rd to 28th of July. I commend this initiative to you. I commend it to you. If you want to be anywhere, you most certainly should be there. I commend the initiative to you. Praise be. Praise be. A little while longer on the screen for those of you who wish to take note. Remember, this is recorded, so always go back to the recording. There you are. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Another quick announcement, if I may, and of course, a earlier guest in 2026. You recall that remarkable human being, and of course, no less, is Dr. Carlton Brown. He sits at the very centre of the African, indeed black population here in Britain's economic vitality, education, skills, training, experience, mentoring, a whole range of services. He commands and directs, encourages collaboration. Oh yes, at the centre of our economic vitality. It is important, therefore, that we always give praise and respect to Dr. Carlton Brown. Praise be to you. Praise be. In recognition of his great works, there is a conference being organised by his team, and team in collaboration with others, of course, the UK Black Entrepreneurs Conference of 2026 is on its way. It's on its way. In fact, I've got a small intro video for it. A video I'm sure you will now appreciate. Watch this and take note of its content. I know you would appreciate it.
The UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference of 2026, scheduled Wednesday, July the 8th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Empower, engage, to educate. To attend the event, go to eventbrite.co.uk and search for the UK Black Business Entrepreneur Conference 2026 and take advantage of the exclusive Demotivatorshow discount code BBEC Motivator 26. BBCE Motivator 26. Our pleasure to you.
And there you are. There you have it. Take advantage of that code, It will gain you a great deal, save you a great deal of money. Okay, there you are. Thank you, Dr. Carlton Brown. Further promotion of that event will continue by the Demotivatorshow. It is, again, we commend that event to you. We commend that event to you. Well done. And those of you who want to get into business, those who are thinking about getting into business, those who wish to be mentored by others, those who seek finance and financial advice, this conference is a conference to attend. Well done, Dr. Carlton Brown. We'll be in touch. Further elaboration on that conference will come forward in future episode of the Demotivatorshow. And the last call out, if I may, a call out which I believe is absolutely vital. I want to give light and respect to Anthony Brown, because we're calling for a Windrush Act. Those who've been unjustly dethroned of their nationality, those who are in the shades, should now come out from those shades, come out into the light. We want to ensure that those of you who are been directly affected by Windrush, the Windrush scandal, the so-called hostile environment. We want to encourage you to come out from the shades into the light so that you can be supported. Anthony Brown is leading the charge, and it is an important step forward. I'll put it on the screen for those of you who are affected, and let's say we're clear. So we're calling for a Windrush Act, because action speaks louder than words. The time for action is now. We need to translate our words into action. Go to the website www.wdlegal.co.uk to join the campaign to secure the Windrush Act. Together, we will make the difference. Again, the Motivator Show commends this initiative to you and encourages you all to participate. Be not afraid. We must be resolute. In unity is strength. There you are. Well done, Doctor. Well done, Anthony Brown. We need to get him here in the Motivator Show studio soon. Give us an update on progress made to date, and I'm assure you progress is being made. Top level meetings are taking place. We will succeed. We're resolute. We will succeed. Praise be. Praise be. And I'll move over to a more sensitive subject. Okay. This is a guest not for this year, but in previous year, but an issue it has not been discussed sufficiently, either in the mainstream media or in social media. And one we here at the Motivator Show, therefore, must give promotion to, must give and shine a light upon it, because it is prevalent and affects more than 250 million women and girls worldwide, primarily of African descent. And that's the issue of FGM. We're not going to be embarrassed here at the Motivator Show. We know it's not popular to discuss. And we know there's a tendency to want to brush it under the carpet, as it were. No, here at the Motivator Show, we remain committed to bringing forward those issues of primary concern to us, which we are not discussing. Without fear or favor, we will discuss it and bring it to your attention. More than 250 million women and girls have been mutilated by FGM, which stands for female genital mutilation. Even though in most countries it is illegal, it still continues till today, in surprising places as well. It is a practice that harms the girls, harms our women. And we men absolutely should not condone such behavior. I want to commend to you a tremendous human being. She is indeed Councillor Naima Ali. I'll put the details on the screen for you right now. There you go. Councillor Naima Ali is the former Mayor of Southwark here in London. She's the founder of Unshackled Duma. Okay. Unshackled Duma is a London-based organisation that empowers women and girls, particularly from Black, Asian and so-called minority ethnic and Muslim communities. The organisation focuses on, and let's be clear what it focuses on, it is really important. It focuses on, let's be clear, it focuses on promoting self-empowerment, autonomy and advocacy, with a strong emphasis on combating female genital mutilation, FGM. It raises FGM's harmful effects and supports survivors and works towards eradicating the practice. We know it's not a popular subject to discuss in public. It is absolutely a necessary subject to discuss in public. Far too many women and girls are suffering the consequences of the actions by others. Reach out to Councillor Naima Ali on the following email address: unshackleduma, followed by 2 at gmail.com. I'll spell it for you. Unshackleduma, UNSHACKLEDUMA ACKLEDUMAR, followed by digit 2 at gmail.com. This is one of those initiatives we absolutely commend to you. And please do not turn your eyes away. Seek out those women and girls who might be affected, or those who are in danger of being affected by this heinous act. We ask for you to show compassion. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for your listening ears. There you are. That's the Motivator Show. We are not afraid to bring those issues which are unpopular to discuss in public, but we will discuss it here on the Motivator Show. We are a campaigning channel, a channel devoted to your well-being, your health and well-being. We intend to bring forward those issues of primary concern to you, so that if we could discuss it, so you could discuss it in your family settings, within your network setting, in your wider settings. So never are we afraid to discuss issues of primary concern, real concern, intimate concern to ourselves. Keep up the good work, people. Keep up the good work. And we are applauding each and every one of you who responded to these messages positively, and even those who responded negatively, but positively, have understood their importance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's now time for us to move to the other section of our podcast, and this is a regular feature of our podcast. And you will recall the most recent episode of The Motivator Show, which involved that great person, Lyndon Wizard, the inspired diabetic. He indeed was the inspiration behind our lifestyle messages, because what he was able to beautifully give light to, illuminate, that if we don't take care of ourselves physically, mentally, and spiritually, it can and probably will have consequences over time. The inspired diabetic, Lyndon Wizard, was unafraid to share with us his personal journey. Some of you watched that live podcast. The podcast series will be released soon. Right, it's been further enhanced. It will be released soon. But he was the inspiration behind the lifestyle messages. The lifestyle messages are designed to remind us daily, as it were, what we need to do, because I need reminding as well, in order to maintain good health and well-being, physical, mental, and spiritual health. And what we need to do each day is remind ourselves of what the professionals are saying. You know, not people like myself, what the professionals are saying. Those who've devoted their entire life to our health and well-being, who've got right to the top of their academic careers, professional careers, so they can provide sound advice and guidance to us, the masses. Yeah, listen to them. I'm going to play a short recording of the words of the Public Health Director for London and some of the South East here in England. Okay, his words are powerful testimony to simplicity and common sense. Yeah, it is. It is. Each time I hear them, it's simplicity and common sense. That's why he's a professor, of course. He's a natural teacher. He understands how to communicate using words that will resonate with the masses of his students. We're all his students, yeah. Professor Fenton, wherever you are, I need to get you back here in the Motivator Show, I'm sure. But he is a remarkable academic, a remarkable clinician. He demonstrates the best of his profession. And his compassion for us all knows no bound, I have to say. So I want you to listen to the words, yeah, as I speak of them, by Professor Kevin Fenton. Could we choose a healthy lifestyle?
So Kevin Fenton says, I'm a public health director. Here are 5 things you can do to improve your health. 1. Mindful and balanced eating. Nourish wisely. Eat whole, balanced meals with awareness to support energy and well-being. 2. Get outside. Be with nature. Time outside reduces stress, improves mood, and strengthens your connection to the world. 3. Stay curious, stay engaged, explore new interests, keep your mind sharp, build social contacts, and boost your happiness. 4. Get active, move it or lose it. Move daily, lift weight, and do cardio. Exercise, improve physical, mental, mood, and energy. 5. Prioritize rest and sleep. Disconnect, rest. Quality sleep supports mental clarity, emotional balance, and overall health.
And those messages are clear, huh? Yep. We take care of you here on The Motivator Show. Those straightforward, common sense lifestyle messages by Professor Kevin Fenton, the Public Health Director for London here in Britain. Yeah, those common sense questions, those common sense statements, those common sense advice to us all are resonating and have resonated with hundreds and thousands of you over time. And we are appreciative of those of you who've written to us and explained your circumstances, how you've come together with other people with common aim and common purpose, understanding we work together in unity is strength. And in doing so, we're transforming our health and well-being. In doing so, we're extending our lives, happier, healthier lives. We're teaching our children this is the way to live. This is the way to thrive. This is the way to take responsibility for our collective health and well-being. And what I'm heartened by is a number of you who've heard these messages and have responded with common aim and common purpose, have raised your game, have reached out to your neighbours, reached out to those with similar ideas, pulled their resources, and are now exercising together. That's what we needed to see. Exercising together. I know across London, across Britain, indeed, Europe and Americas, indeed in the Caribbean, new groups have come up together and common aim and common purpose, working together, understanding we exercise together, will be healthier together. There's no excuse. We can and will make the difference. So I want to show you an example of people who've heard these messages, who come together in common aim and common purpose. Just spend just a minute or two to watch them exercise. Yes, we're going to do it just for a minute or two because it is instructive. It reminds us of what we need to do. We want you to be here every episode of The Motivator Show for the next 100 years. We can, if we work at it. Anything is possible. So watch these people who've come together in common aim and common purpose. Watch them exercise, but please don't just sit there passively and watch. Participate. Be a part of the movement to improve our lifestyle. Here we go. Oh, we're not just sitting down now. Let's get up for a moment or two. Come on, get up just for a moment or two. That's right. You see them? They're all exercising together. Oh yes, there you go. Look at that. Look at that. They're big and they're small. They're wide and they're thin. But they come together in common aim and common purpose. Understanding we work together. We can stay healthier together. Do it quickly, you do it by yourself. You run very fast, do it all by yourself. If you want long, sustained gain, we do it together, all your resources. Speak to those, hold the hands of those who have the energy, the will to stay fit and healthy. It is your gift, not anyone else's gift, your gift to yourself. See them, they exercise together. That's what we want to see. More of this. This makes all the difference. Notice, they've even got their children there. Yes, their children with them as well. Yep, the children are watching their mums and dads, their aunts and their uncles. Yes, grandparents, granddad and grandmothers. Yes, they're exercising together. Recognizing we work together, we can stay healthier together. And together we can and will transform the world. There you are. I'm going to pause up there now. I'm going to pause up there. I'm going to pause it there. Because they know you. You know them. You've seen them working, haven't you? You understand the importance of that piece of work. You understand the importance of exercise. I know far too many of you are not exercising. Far too many of you are not exercising. And far too many are not paying attention to what you're eating. You recall the most recent episode with Lyndon Wizard, the inspired diabetic. The numbers of diabetes cases are increasing, not decreasing at this time. It is a cause for real concern. And you would have seen, as part of that episode, the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies, that is, of course, Professor Hilary Beckles. He noted that diabetes is an epidemic across the Caribbean. And indeed, it most certainly is not far off it here in Britain and United States of America. So therefore, these messages are crucial messages if we're to maintain our health and well-being. And I know it's embarrassing. I know some of you don't want to hear this message. I get it. But the principles on which these episodes of the Motivator shows are undertaken is that we are here to translate our words into action, because success is ours for the taking. You've got to believe it, people. You have to believe it. Yes, you have to believe it. Success is ours for the taking. We work together. We can transform our lives together. Yes, that's understood. We work together. We can and will transform our lives together. But look, if you're in London, if you're in this part of South London where we're based, okay, why don't you just meet that group I've just played? They're called Countdown. They call themselves Countdown. They represent a cross-selection of that community there, okay, cross-selection. People share the common aim and common purpose. They meet every Monday and Wednesday between 6:30 and 8 p.m. at 8 Tatum Street, Tatum Street in London. And that's postcode SE17 1TN. There you are. Every Monday and Wednesday between 6:30 and 8 p.m. And the email address you wish to reach out to them is countdown0405@gmail.com. Or you can phone if you're in the UK. It's 07960 803 588. We commend the work of Countdown. Their numbers continue to grow, and they have spawned many offshoots across London and across Europe, and I'm sure across the Americas and the Caribbean. Well done to all of you who have been a part of this journey to exercise for life. As Lyndon Wizard would say, to exercise for life. Well done. Well done. Oh, well done. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Keynote speaker in 10 minutes' time. But between now and then, this is one other key message we want to get out to you. Now, this message is important. Climate change is real. I'm going to say it again. Climate change is real. I'm based in London, yeah, in England, yeah. We have not seen snow for the very first time in London this winter. We have not seen snow. 30 years ago, we would have up to 8 inches of snow throughout the winter's period, if not more. 30 years hence, today, there was no snow. Climate change is real. Climate change is real. Problem is, at this rate of climate change, in another 30 years, we'll be burning hot here in London, similar to Arabia, or the yeah. That would be a very, very serious event. And if it's that hot here in London, just imagine what it would be like in places like Saudi Arabia. Just imagine what it would be like there. And therefore, this is an alert. This is an alert. I'm going to put it on the screen. This is an alert. 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 We want you to hear, this is an alert. The Caribbean, over the past 2 to 3 years, has experienced unusually intense storms at the beginning of the hurricane season. In 2024, the Caribbean was struck by Hurricane Beryl. In 2025, the Caribbean was struck by Hurricane Melissa. Beryl was a Category 4 hurricane, and Melissa a Category 5 hurricane. What that means is wind intensity. Can you imagine a Category 5 hurricane where you have winds of up to 185 miles an hour? More than 100 kilometers per hour. Can you imagine? And such a hurricane, Melissa, struck Jamaica and caused significant damage in 2025. Many buildings were destroyed. Whole villages were wiped out. Thousands upon thousands of people lost their source of income. Public buildings were destroyed. A devastation to behold. Yes, Jamaica is rebuilding. Yes, this is true. But Jamaica, like many places, needs our help. There's an organisation here in Britain called PNP UK who devoted themselves to build back better, public buildings, build back better wherever they can. So they've devoted themselves to build back better. They've chosen a school, a basic school in Jamaica to build back better. The school is now functional, but in a dilapidated building. We need to build back better. So it is indeed hurricane resistant. It is for us to help wherever we can. We're in Britain, in this case, the founders of the Industrial Revolution, which means, of course, that they specialized in burning coal and went on, of course, to burn oil, releasing into the atmosphere not hundreds of tons of CO2, carbon dioxide, not thousands of tons, not hundreds of thousands of tons, but billions of tons of CO2 into the atmosphere for the past 200 years. And inevitably, as you would expect, Britain, the whole of Europe, the Americas, Japan, largely responsible for the rapid climate change which we're experiencing right now. And will have a significant economic and social impact as the decades proceed. Again, we had no snow here in London. So let's return to Jamaica. Let's return to this basic school that PNP UK members have committed themselves to build back better. I'm immensely proud of them. I'm immensely proud to be supporting that campaign to build back better. Every penny will be accounted for. Every cent will be accounted for. Build back better. Together, we can make the difference. Translate your word, your commitment into action, because success is ours for the taking. I want you to listen to the principal of a basic school in Jamaica making a public appeal. Okay. Listen carefully to this educator. She is totally committed to the children within her care. She is appealing. She doesn't make money from being a school principal, let me tell you. Doesn't make money from that. She is devoted. It is for her a vocation to help the little ones, as she calls them, in that wonderful, wonderful way of hers. Listen, and I'm assuring you, your heart will be moved.
PNP UK Hurricane Melissa Disaster Relief Fund appeal for a better Jamaica.
Good morning, students.
Say good morning, parents.
Good morning, students.
Today is what month are we in?
We are in the month of January.
Everyone, I am Lexia Lewis Hines, principal of the New Building Early Childhood Institution in New Building, Nain, St. Elizabeth. We were adversely affected by the passing of Hurricane Melissa on October 28, 2025. And as such, we lost our school roof, we have lost furniture, books, and other learning materials for our young ones. I am hereby making a plea asking for any contribution that can be given to assist us in further renovating our school building so that our students can return to some semblance of normalcy. We have already received some donations and we're able to cover half the roof. The other half is patched up with the old zinc that was there from before. And as such, any contribution is an investment in our young ones, the future generation. And so this is my plea, asking for any contribution that can be given in assisting us to be better able to facilitate our young students. Thank you so very much.
New Building Early Childhood School, New Buildings District, Nain, St. Elizabeth, Jamaica.
January is 21 days old.
On behalf of PNP UK, we hope you would agree that this school needs to be rebuilt so that the children can enjoy the teaching and learning experience. Support the Hurricane Melissa Disaster Relief Fund to build back better the school. Send your donation, whatever you can afford, to PNP UK. That's at NatWest Bank, sort code 600802, account number 298612333. And in the bank reference, please quote DRF Melissa. Thank you for considering. Thank you for your donations. PNP.
I think you would agree that that is a worthy cause. Let's get these public buildings back into use, fully into use. And not only should they be brought back into use, that they have become hurricane proof. Yeah? So that in that village, in that local town, there's at least one building that can be assured is hurricane proof. So we can protect those vulnerable young children, protect the elderly, protect those who need protecting. We can do this together. Let's do this together. And together we can transform the world. We want to thank each and every one of you who have found it in your heart to give what you can afford for this cause. We will have representatives from PNP UK, maybe even the head teacher herself, speak directly to us on what progress has been made to date. This method of going directly into the PNP account is deliberate. Any other method requires that an agency fee is paid to a third party. In this way, each and every cent, each and every penny can be accounted for. These are persons of good standing who we at the Demotivatorshow Show have no problem in recommending and commending to you. If in doubt, ask questions, but please do not hesitate. Let's move forward together. Let's bring this school fully into use, but into use sufficiently it can withstand future hurricanes. Because if there's an assurance on this matter that there will be future hurricanes. Thank you, each and every one of you, for your support. We have not forgotten you. Thank you again. Long may you continue well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There you are, there you are. I'm so immensely proud that those representatives of PNP UK remain totally devoted. I will not allow themselves to be distracted by other people. In fact, why don't I just put it up on the screen one more time, just to help them along. There you are. It's on the screen again, just to help those of you who didn't have your pen and paper ready. Why not? There you go. The Hurricane Melissa Disaster Relief Fund, being hosted by PNP UK, out of many, one people. Send your donation to PNP UK at NatWest Bank, sort code 600802, account number 298-61233. And in the transfer reference, put TRF Melissa, so it's clear its purpose. All right? And I'm assuring you, we will ensure every penny, every cent is accounted for. Because these are not people who are engaged in nefarious activities. They are totally devoted to bringing back this school and other schools and other public buildings back fully into public use. Well done, PNP UK. Well done, well done, well done. Oh, you know what? Yes, I will do it. You don't mind. I'm going to give them the applause. Well done. Yes. Thank you, PNP UK. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. Well done. We need more of you. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So now it's time for us to move to our keynote speaker, Dr. Henley Morgan, one of Jamaica's premier social entrepreneurs. Yeah. Okay. Now, we talk about Jamaica in this occasion, but this can apply to any country across the Caribbean and, of course, any country in Africa. Because what I'm conscious of, there are many countries in Africa where its greatest talents reside overseas, and many have accumulated significant wealth, personal wealth, but equally important, accumulated significant skills, education and skills that could be of great service to their countries of heritage. A great service. So even though I live here in Britain, it is absolutely clear that if we were to increase trade between Jamaica and Britain, that would be good for Jamaica and good for Britain. Britain lives by trade. So promoting trade, yep. And being able, and for Jamaicans able to buy even more highly valued and technology from Britain will be good for Britain. And be good for Jamaica to sell produce and other technologies to Britain as well. Trade is always two sides, two ways. Unlike that bloke in Washington who says, my country first, as the rest of the world recognizes, you only create wealth where there's mutual collaboration and understanding and respect. Once that's gone, as the Canadians and Mexicans are testifying, US will suffer. I won't go to that right now. Jamaica and Britain. Increased trade between those two countries And what Dr. Henley Morgan has testified in our dialogue, he, like many diaspora Jamaicans who have come back and become an integral part of the local community, can and do make a difference. Coined the phrase social entrepreneur, and he's promoting social enterprise, social entrepreneurship. And together we will transform the country and in turn the world. So before I go to the main dialogue I had with Dr. Morgan, I want to play a part of the intro video many of you I'm sure would have missed. And that intro video sets the scene, sets the tone for our dialogue with Dr. Morgan, who is indeed a great person. He is a part of that incredible diaspora that spread its wings across Europe and Britain, the Americas, United States of America, and added significantly to Britain's GDP, and added significantly to the US GDP. Yeah, recognition at last, huh? Yeah, recognition at last. So I'm just going to play initially the intro video, and then we'll go into the main dialogue with Dr. Morgan. But watch the intro video. It will set the scene, set the tone for our dialogue.
This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building. This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building.
The story of Jamaica has never been confined to its shores. It lives in Brixton, Toronto, New York and beyond. Wherever Jamaicans have carried their resilience, rhythm and relentlessness, ambition. Yet today a powerful shift is underway. A new generation of the diaspora is turning back, not out of nostalgia, but with purpose. They're returning to build, to invest, to transform the land of their birth. This is not charity, it is strategy, it is nation building. At the center of this movement stands Dr. Henley Morgan, a man whose life offers both a blueprint and a provocation. His journey is not simply inspiring, it is instructive. It shows what becomes possible when the Jamaican diaspora's knowledge, global exposure and deep local commitment converge with discipline and vision. Dr. Morgan did not approach Jamaica with sentiment alone. He approached it with structure. As founder and executive chairman of the Agency for Inner-City Renewal, or AIR, he rejected the exhausted model of dependency-driven aid and asked a harder question. What if communities like Trenchtown were not problems to be fixed, but assets to be activated? That single shift in thinking changed everything. Through AIR, Dr. Morgan introduced business-orientated solutions to spaces long dominated by charity. Social enterprises replaced handout. Business incubators nurtured local talent. Micro-enterprise support empowered residents to generate income rather than wait for assistance. Cultural revitalization project turned Jamaica's rich musical heritage into an economic engine. What others saw as hardship, he saw as opportunity, raw, unrefined, but filled with potential.
Yes.
Here lies the lesson for the Jamaican diaspora. Too often, returning home is framed as a sacrifice. It is not. Approached correctly, it is one of the most powerful investments a person can make. The Jamaican diaspora carries what Jamaica urgently needs: exposure to global systems, access to capital, networks, and a mindset forged by competition at the highest level. But without structure, that advantage is squandered. Dr. Morgan's work makes clear that impact requires organization, not just intention. Dr. Morgan's vision of Jamaica as a social enterprise country is more than a slogan. It's a strategic framework. Imagine a nation where every community challenge is treated as a business opportunity, where unemployment sparks enterprise creation, where culture fuels industry, and where local ownership displaces external dependency. This is not theory. Through his consultation and practical models, Dr. Henley Morgan has shown it can and will be done. His book, My Trenchtown Journey, Lessons in Social Entrepreneurship and Community Transformation, reinforces this message powerfully. It is at once a memoir and a manual, offering hard-won insight to leaders, policymakers, and practitioners alike. It strips away the illusion that transformation is easy, while proving without question that it is achievable. And for the Jamaican diaspora, the implications are clear. Returning to Jamaica must mean more than remittances and occasional philanthropy. Both matter, but neither is sufficient. The future demands builders, individuals willing to establish enterprises, transfer skills, mentor local talent, and embed themselves in the economic life of their communities. It demands people who understand that sustainable change is not delivered from the outside, it is constructed from within. This is a defining moment. Jamaica does not lack talent, it lacks scale. It does not lack ideas, it lacks coordinated execution. Diaspora is uniquely positioned to bridge that gap, but only if it moves beyond passive support and commits to active participation. Dr. Henley Morgan's legacy is a call to action. He has shown that transformation is possible when discipline meets vision, when business meets community, and when purpose overrides comfort. The question now is simple. Will the Jamaican diaspora follow his lead? Because the future of Jamaica will not be decided by circumstance. It will be built by those bold enough to return, not merely to remember where they came from, but to redefine where the nation is going. Praise Jah, Rastafari.
Yes, so that set the tone, hasn't it? Yes, you understand the importance of the dialogue between the Demotivatorshow and Dr. Henley Morgan. I'm now going to play our dialogue. It was not an interview. It was a dialogue between two men. Yeah. just rapping, understanding each other, seeking out to understand each other. Yeah. It was truly an inspirational experience, I have to tell you. So watch this. Watch this. This is the main dialogue between ourselves and Dr. Morgan, that social entrepreneur, setting the tone for the rest of the Caribbean and Africa. Praise Jah, Rastafari. It's the motivator here. This is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking. Hey, people, I've got another inspirational podcast ahead of us, and indeed, an inspirational African man from Jamaica, a true philanthropist. We don't have many Jamaican philanthropists here on the Demotivatorshow, but we've got a live example. And we're going to discover far more about him very soon, and why social entrepreneurs are going to be the future of Jamaica. Mark my word, all right? Mark my word. Look at this distinguished feature. There's African royalty before us. Sir, let me find out who is he. Let's find out who it is. Sir, can I ask you, please, just to say your name, your organization, first of all, and then I'm going to ask you at the end to please share with us a happy experience from your childhood. Okay, who are you, sir?
Good morning, good morning, good morning to Jamaicans here on the Rock and in the wider diaspora. Even at the North Pole, I'm told they're Jamaicans.
Oh, yes.
So
What's that thing is?
my name is Henley Morgan. On this occasion, I won't apologize for my name, although it speaks to an English or European corruption of the African experience.
Yes.
I certainly won't apologize for my parents, both now deceased, who gave life to me and who influenced a lot in terms of who I am, how I think, and what I'm trying to achieve in this lifetime.
Some people refer to you as being a social entrepreneur. Is that the descriptor that you recognize?
I hope those who refer to me as a social entrepreneur understand what that means more than I did when I started to say I was a social entrepreneur. It actually came about when I decided that I needed to do more in this life than just make money and just to be successful by the criteria the world sets. And I really wanted to be impactful. And so at the height of my my career as a business consultant, I moved to Trenchtown. And people would ask for an explanation, given, all the stereotypes about these communities. And somewhat to cover the reputation of my family, I would say I'm a social entrepreneur. I know a lot more now of who a social entrepreneur is.
Yes.
I have since, however, coined the term, and I don't know if I'm the first in the world, to say I am a Christian social entrepreneur. And I think it reflects purpose and calling in life.
Okay. I'm going to pursue that question later on, but I want to ask you a few get-to-know-you questions so the audience can better understand who you are. So in my opening question to you a moment ago, I want you, just for the benefit of my audience and me, because I'm curious, can you share with us a happy memory from your childhood in Jamaica? Share with us a happy memory.
Let's talk about the childhood experience. Because when you are a child, you're not able to identify some of those important principles that are being embedded through nurturing. What I do know now is that the circumstances of my birth and my early upbringing has influenced who I am 7 decades later. And let me just give you a peek into it.
Please.
I was born to a family, my late father, Reverend Dr. Morgan, and my mom, the late Louise Adina Morgan, in a nondescript district, you would say, in the foothills of St. James, a community called Malden. This is significant for a number of reasons. One, my father was a theologian and a pastor of some repute. And the church, Malden Baptist Church, it was one of the first free villages. I didn't know then, but I do know now that my father came to that church 100 years after emancipation. And he was, on recollection, a Christian, but also a Garveyite. Secondly, my father was a politician. He, as a matter of fact, represented South St. James in the late 1950s for the People's National Party.
All right.
And although I like to boast that I am in no way politically partisan, that had a lot to do with my upbringing. In that, from I was a child, Norman Manley, even Bustamante, I remember them in the manse at Malden. And so political activism also shaped me.
I can
When
imagine.
I was
If I may, sir, I don't mean
yes,
to interrupt you on
go
time,
ahead.
because but this is
Don't let me run ahead of you, because when I start
it's all
talking
right.
about this, it can even become a little bit emotional.
I understand, and I understand your direction. And it was interesting. So my question to you, a happy moment from your childhood. You refer to influencers, okay? But is there a poignant moment from your childhood which you remember fondly? It would be interesting to hear how you respond to that. It's a very, very specific question. Is there a poignant moment from your childhood that you remember fondly?
Let me just repeat to be sure I got that accurately. You're asking from my childhood, what do I recall?
Well,
That as a happy moment.
A happy moment from your childhood.
I had a very good childhood, and little boy, there's 7 of us running around in the country, a little bit better off, so I can't say we didn't have water or electricity or whatever, because my father made sure that there was a Delco plant, that provided electricity for the church and the manse. And so we had some of that, but a typical childhood. But one of the things I reflect on now, and I don't know if I would say it's a happy moment or just significant, is that in driving from Montego Bay to Malden, we would pass through a district called Kensington, which is very, very important in the emancipation movement, because my dad would stop the car and would explain about what was called the Kensington Fire, which started the whole movement, some would say rebellion, towards emancipation. And he would talk about a clergyman who preceded him in those hills, Sam Sharp, who stood up and said, I would rather die on them there gallows than spend one more day in slavery. And how he paid with his life by hanging, being hanged in the square in Montego Bay. That now bears his name. Now, just imagine a young, impressionable boy of maybe 6, 7 years. And you're growing up with this kind of almost indoctrination that says to you that part of your purpose in life is to make the wrongs right. To the degree that you as an individual, but working in community can. I look back now, and as I said, not sure if I'd say it's the happiest, but certainly significant. And I am absolutely so grateful. And when I'm looking for meaningfulness to my life, or questions like, why at the top of my career would I seemingly throw it away to associate with a community I'm not from, like Trenchtown, that other people are moving out of? Then my mind goes back to what I have just explained to you, and I have peace in my heart.
Thank you. Thank you. And that is what I anticipated in answering that question of you. And thank you for the response. And it's important, therefore, particularly for the audience and the younger ones, to understand. You refer to the villages, first 3 villages in Jamaica. And what is important is not part of the history books with sufficient detail, is that the rebellions were continuous. Yeah, we Africans of Jamaica ensured that the enslavement, the subjugation of our people was costly for the British. One generation after another, we made sure it was unprofitable and therefore increasingly expensive for them, until the day in which they had to give us freedom because it was not economically viable for them to continue to control a rebellious population that was the people of Jamaica. Praise Jah, Rastafari. Well said, well said. And what you are providing is that first-hand account that across Jamaica, our ancestors continued to rebel and never accepted the title of enslaved. They were being enslaved, but never accepted the title of slave. We always remain and continue to be people of African heritage, from the land of Africa. Praise be, praise be. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And
Thank you.
As you started to narrate your childhood, you made mention of some of our greats. And you mentioned that your father and yourself are Garvey. Let me just ask this question. And this will help, again, both my audience here in the diaspora, Jamaican diaspora, those who are wanting to understand Jamaica and the history of Jamaica. But I ask you this question. Please name 3 Jamaicans either alive or have gone on to the ancestors whose lives have left an indelible impression on you, Dr. Henley Morgan. Give us 3 Jamaicans that made that indelible impression upon you.
I will mention one
Okay.
who I have never met because he lived before my time, and that is Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
Absolutely. Yes.
As a matter of fact, in my book, which we will talk about, I'm sure,
Yes.
every chapter begins with a quotation from the Right Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey.
Please be.
And why he is important to me is that, first of all, he was willing to risk his own comfort, even his own well-being,
Yes.
to change things that bothered his conscience. And so even risked his reputation in terms of unjust charges brought against him.
That's right.
I think you have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone and pay a price if you must to make a change. And I often say to people that going back to Kensington and all of that, the heart of a revolutionary beats within my chest, and it has not been diminished by approaching age. Marcus Garvey also was an entrepreneur.
Yes.
He understood that until you became creators of wealth, you could not be in control of your own destiny.
Indeed.
And there are persons like Dr. Kadamawi Knife, who is from Trenchtown and he teaches at the University of West Indies, who would identify Marcus Garvey as one of the first social entrepreneurs.
Yes.
We do disagree on that technically in terms of a definition, but there it is. Then Bob Marley.
Okay. Yes.
I almost said I never met him, but recently, not too long ago, in the last 5 years, I met a school friend of mine who had migrated to the United States, headed up the JTB in California. And he said to me, he said, Henley, I am not surprised you ended up in Trenchtown. I said, why aren't you surprised? Everybody else is. He said, no, because remember, when we were little boys and we would play football up by Priory, Bob Marley was an older, bigger boy, used to come and play football, and you and him linked, and he would walk with you home. I said, what?
Oh. Ooh.
He said, yes. I said, who is that? And he explained the guy to me. And I remember that was Bob Marley at about 14 years old.
Ooh.
Now, it's amazing how through divine providence, and without knowing, I ended up in the birthplace of reggae. And so I do appreciate the legacy he has left. Of course, I have gotten to know his daughter, Sedella, and some of his sons. There's, and they come to Trenchtown. There was a biopic made in Trenchtown. Some of it was shot on location where our studio is and so forth. So I would say definitely Bob Marley. For the third spot, though, it's hard to name a specific individual because there are just a whole lot of persons who are even alive today who I admire. And it should not surprise you that many of them are politicians who we give a bad word, but coming from a political family, I realize what sacrifice they made.
Yes.
Norman Washington Manley,
Yes.
who,
Yes.
of course, is not alive, is someone I do admire, not necessarily from a political thing as a People's National Party, but philosophically.
Okay. Yes.
And even now, a lot of the foundation principles that we use in Agency for Inner-City Renewal comes from the progressive agenda,
Yes.
which is associated with the People's National Party.
Okay.
I think we ought to be able to speak about these things without being labeled political.
I understand.
And you can only build success by standing on the shoulders of others who have gone before you.
Absolutely.
And so these are three that I am eternally grateful for. And I'm glad for the opportunity to give them the credit that they are due.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you. And of course, Marcus Garvey is, of course, a national hero, Jamaica's first national hero, for reasons you beautifully illuminated. And it's interesting as you describe each of the subsequent personalities, Bob Marley and Washington Manley. These are persons who were able to transcend both class and indeed ethnicity across the island and indeed the world. So these are not national heroes; these are indeed international, recognized personalities. So yes,
all three. Yes, that is.
Yeah, you're in the company of greatness. So it is interesting to hear your influences, and in this, if I may just return to Marcus Garvey, okay, just for a moment or two, because he's such a powerful personality. And you describe him as being a person of influence, but is there a specific book of his or action that you believe for you really define the man?
Well, Marcus Garvey, as it is the case with many people who we would say have left a legacy that lives beyond them, like MLK, Martin Luther King, has left many quotable quotes. Has left many quotable quotes. And, as I said in my book, I open each chapter with one of these. But I find myself now using words which make people question whether I'm a bald-head Rasta, in that I close many of my communique by saying, one God, one aim, one destiny.
One destiny, yes. Indeed.
And that is how I sequence my journey. One God, one aim, one destiny. And so if I had to point out something from that movement that rests heavily with me and continues to be a lamp unto my feet, along with scripture, that would be it from Marcus Garvey, and of course the movement that today bears his name.
Well said. I think that's a really good assessment of some of our greats and why Jamaicans continue to be recognized across the world. I think it's a very good analysis. Okay, and as you provided the response, you've of course alluded to my next line of inquiry. If you were able to share a few of your core principles that have guided your professional career and enabled your social entrepreneurship. What are your core principles that guide your professional career that enabled your social entrepreneurship?
My core principles can be summarized in 3 letters.
Okay.
HIT. HIT. H for honesty. I think that is so lacking in Jamaica. Everybody wants to dance to the band, and we pretend for career and other reasons to be somebody we are not.
Indeed, indeed.
Just be honest in being who you are created to be. Integrity,
Yes.
very important. Being a person who is reliable,
Yes.
being a person of your word. We're all sinners, we're all shaped, however, in the image and the likeness of the Creator, but we are prone to err.
Yes.
But integrity comes with its own set of principles and guide rails that informs your behavior and your public persona. And then the T is for trust. It is amazing that based on research, Jamaica has one of the lowest trust rates in the whole universe. It's just amazing. And that is why, although we have one of the most powerful mottos out of many, walk as one,
Yes.
we have never been able to actualize it because there is lack of trust. And so, in a way, we are a divided society. We are divided even in the church by denominations. We are divided politically. We are divided socially. In Jamaica, they speak about big man, little man, no man, uptown, downtown. Even in our language, we are divided. So honesty, integrity, truth, which is the basis for trust. Those are my simple guidelines that, in terms of how I try to live my life.
Very good. Powerful, 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 powerful. Honesty, integrity, trust. Hit. Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Though you refer to politicians earlier on as being people who you have respect for, and you note them in your as being key influencers. Okay, is the lack of honesty a circumstance which has happened since so-called independence, or was it a feature of pre-independence Jamaican society, that lack of honesty?
I'm going to ask you just to repeat that last part, referring to the independence.
I do, forgive me. So is the lack of honesty a feature of Jamaica prior to independence, or is it the lack of honesty that has become more profound post-independence?
It is very unsettling that in a Gleaner poll, they asked the question whether Jamaica had benefited from independence. And the majority response is that the pre-independence period, there was more certainty of Jamaica's trajectory, and the majority opinion is that they would rather go back then. It's amazing. Norman Washington Manley, who was, along with his cousin, Alexander Bustamante, the architects of this independence, Norman Washington Manley, in his last public address, and I won't try to repeat verbatim, but he did say mission accomplished in terms of what his generation tried to accomplish, which was independence, political independence. And then he also enunciated a mission for the generations that would succeed him politically. And it was to build the life and economy of Jamaica. Not just a more prosperous Jamaica, but a more inclusive and equitable Jamaica. We can each make our own assessment if that Jamaica exists today. While acknowledging the great strides we have made as a nation, and we have, there's a lot to be thankful for, but Jamaica still is the most underperforming country in the world relative to its God-given assets. That's my personal assessment.
No, it's okay.
I didn't say we're not progressive. I said relative to its God-given
right.
assets.
I get that. And if I may, Dr. Morgan, this is one of those important junction points, okay, which is, and again, to help the audience better understand your reasoning, of course. And if I can inject some of these additional details into our discussion, because we won't get onto your book, because your book really does begin to put all this together very well. But if I may, just some of the basic building blocks, as it were. So at the point of independence, the Jamaican economy was controlled by the former enslaver families. Those who had made incredible wealth from trafficking and working our ancestors to death, yeah, still controlled the Jamaican economy. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's one. Two, at the point of independence, and it happened apparently a year beforehand, the British drained the Jamaican treasury. Mm-hmm. Consequently, one of the first duties of the finance minister, whose name eludes me right now, but I'll come back to in a moment, okay, was that he had to go to the World Bank and IMF, in fact, World Bank, I think it was, in order just to pay the civil servants. And thirdly, at the time of independence, one of the features of Jamaica was the numbers of Jamaicans who never received an education beyond very basic education.
That is so.
Which, of course, meant that countries such as Britain and United States of America, both my family came to Britain, and some went to United States, and I suspect same with yourself, yeah, was attractive. My parents, indeed your parents, I'm sure, were economic migrants. They sought out career job opportunities for social and economic improvement. Those opportunities which were not available to them here in Jamaica. Now, with those facts in line, that the former enslaver families continued to control the economy and therefore has significant influence over the politics of the island, keep that in mind. The action of the British, through the so-called Governor-General at the time, that drained the treasury, so the first duties of the finance minister was to go to the World Bank and IMF, seek loans, just to keep and then thirdly, of course, as I've described, of course, the lack of education, the under-educating masses. Now, that is a recipe for disaster and most certainly would undermine honesty, trust, and integrity amongst the people, would it not?
I try very much in my daily existence not to cast blame, not to point fingers, and certainly not to exist in the wishful thinking of the past.
Indeed.
Or to try to change those things that I cannot change. I look at reality. So, while I recognize those three conditions, they really come up in my root cause analysis.
Okay.
Let me explain.
Yes.
The fact of the matter is that Jamaica has enjoyed universal adult suffrage since 1944. And we, meaning the Black majority, and I'm not being racial, those who used to be in the fields are now in the big house. We are the guardians of our own destiny. Now, we do exist in a global dispensation, and Michael Manley used to speak about the need for a new world economic order. And those conditionalities still exist today. There's without a doubt. But I still believe that in the choices we make locally, in terms of how we arrange our politics and how we arrange our economy and where we invest our resources, without casting blame, I still believe we are a country in search of a better way.
Yes.
The country is still decidedly top down, trickle down.
But Dr. Morgan, please, Dr. Morgan, and I hear this often
Yes.
from Jamaicans, live amongst Jamaicans. Huh? See, if we ignore the elephants in the room, remember,
Yes.
if the economy, the means of production, as it were, is not owned by the African majority, in this case in Jamaica,
Yes.
you are starting off at a significant disadvantage, as if you've got one arm behind your back and one leg is slightly partially tied up, because the wealth and the control of that wealth rests with other people. And as you seek to counterbalance and redress this issue, as of course you mentioned Michael Manley, it started that process. Okay, what happens? The cousins, the relatives of those in Jamaica who control the wealth of the nation intervene.
Yeah.
What did they do with Michael Manley? They introduced guns. Suddenly guns were appearing on the beaches, and suddenly all these poor people had opportunity to have guns and use that as a means to take out their territory. These poor people were given guns. They were not given education, were not given financial resources. They were given guns.
That's right.
By foreign powers, not far from the island. Okay. In other words, the very peoples who control the production of the island, the wealth of the island, sought intervention to undermine the African population that sought to ensure that we could have universal suffrage of the type which you describe. So it's not for the want of trying. It is really, if I may suggest to you, Dr. Morgan, and I want to press you on this one, because you are a social entrepreneur, okay? It is really, of course, the ability to see the facts as they really are and to plan accordingly. But to suggest for a moment, because I've met very, very, very few Jamaicans who are not intelligent, who are not compassionate, who are not determined, who are absolutely clear that they want better for themselves and their family. I met very few of them. What they lack is the tools to do so, and of course the wider the support from overseas to enable them to deliver on that agenda. That may be the challenge we have. It's not that they are inherently lazy or unable. They are very able, but they've been actively held back. It's my summation, observation of the situation. What's your take on what I described? Am I off key or toy?
You know, I totally agree with the way you have framed it, and I still believe that in some ways we are our worst enemies. In that, you talk about the elephant in the room. The enemy is within our own minds and our own belief in our resilience and our own fear of cutting the remaining things that keep us tethered to the very system that holds us bound. And you know, when the only time I feel truly free in Jamaica is not necessarily when I am attending these major functions in the opulence of some hotel ballroom, or as a representative of Botswana, you're a member of the, the consular corps, and you go place, or when I'm in academia. It's when I'm in Trenchtown where the rules are written at the edge.
Absolutely, yes.
It's and maybe it's not the opportunity at that level that drives people and their behavior, but it's the necessity of surviving. And there's one benefit with being neglected, as were our forefathers, the slaves, is that you get to do a lot of things you would do naturally. So, in terms of the system, what we call the system, and I would not say I have withdrawn. I still maintain a certain interest and influence, but my faith is more in the people than the system of governance. And I'm avoiding the word government, which then goes political, but the governance that superintends the affairs of the country.
Agreed. Okay. I hear you. I know that Moorish Bishop of Grenada would have said much the same. He thought very similar to Michael Manley.
Did you say Maurice Bishop?
Yes, Moorish Bishop of Grenada, yes. In recognizing the need for change, fundamental change in that society. The term revolutionary change would mean that fundamental change in a manner in which the governance of the country is managed, and therefore how wealth is created and harnessed by the people. Okay, and that is a journey that Jamaicans is still yet to go on. And before I leave this section of our dialogue, I deliberately use the term the majority African population in Jamaica, the ethnic Africans, as it were, in Jamaica, were the overwhelming majority. Okay? At the point of independence, we held less than 5% of the wealth of the nation.
Less than how much? 1%?
Oh, indeed. Well, I said 5, but I'm told it's less than 1%, but I believe it's less than 5%. Let's be, I'm reminded, of course, that there are many people in Jamaica of mixed heritage. Okay, so we've got to keep that in mind. But less than 5% of the wealth of the nation, and therefore, if the overwhelming majority of the people only control less than 5% of the wealth of the nation, that is a recipe for a disaster. And most certainly, it's not a recipe to stimulate economic growth and prosperity for all. And I believe these are questions we as Jamaicans do not address fully. And I just go back to my original point about the African identity. We do not talk about our African identity sufficiently. And I've yet to see a program that seeks to Africanize some of the places, some of the streets, some of the voice centers in Jamaica, so they have an African name rather than the name that was handed down to us at the point of so-called independence. Because unless we reconnect to our root, we remain a weed on its side, very weak and likely to fall when there's a storm. Now, that's an analysis. What say you? Is my analysis of us not recognizing and acknowledging our African roots a point of strength or failure for the nation? So.
You know, there's an evolutionary process to development.
Indeed.
The fact of the matter is that the majority of Jamaicans, Black Jamaicans, can trace their roots back to Africa. That is a truism. And I do recognize Peter Tosh, who said, no matter where you come from, as long as you're a Black man, you are an African. But the fact of the matter is that I am a Jamaican. And I don't wear a lot of these labels. I am not even very big in this whole thing about repatriation, paying for past sins and groveling at the feet of those who created wrong to see if they would compensate. I'm not much into those kinds of things. I just live as a proud Jamaican that transcends the color of your skin and represents the best of Africa as a mother of civilization, but so too some of the others who came here as indentured servants and have been able, by the dint of hard work, to reposition themselves in Jamaican society. However, the Black race, Black people, as Jamaicans would say, are struggling. That's why I say sometimes the enemy is within. To, first of all, recognize the greatness of our historical antecedent, to understand the power and the strength that comes in unity,
His strengths, yes.
and to live with the focus and purpose that each generation must be better than the one that preceded it. It's almost cultural. I don't know now if we can even teach it. Honorable P.J. Patterson, he claims that he has retired to the pavilion, but it seems like from time to time he comes onto the and puts a few balls across the boundary. And he has been speaking recently now, not just Jamaica, but even the Caribbean and CARICOM. And when you are facing pressure from a monolith, like our friends to the north, why a unified position? It's not time for grandstanding, like the leader of Trinidad sometimes does, or to seek your own best interest. Your only chance of survival and progress is in your unity. And so this must happen at the community level. It must happen at the national level. It must happen at the regional level. It must happen at the level of the diaspora and like what you're trying to do. And I think even if it's by inches, at the pace of a snail, we will achieve progress. That is my philosophy. So I don't try to live. I don't have to spend time talking to people about if I'm African. If you can't, as Obama said, if when I look in the mirror, it tells me all I need to know about who I am, and so on. It's what we do in the here and the present and the now.
So, Dr. Morgan, you're right, of course. You're right, of course. You're being a practical man, and I'm listening to your words. It will have been chosen very carefully, but I understand. I may have a slight advantage that I'm able to have a much broader view of my identity, and observing, you and I of a certain age, well, observing human behavior over many decades, over indeed a lifetime. It does appear, from an empirical point of view, that the only identity which appears to have a fundamental unifying energy is when you recognize your African heritage. Okay, but I won't pursue that with you for now because it is interesting to listen to you. Because you're right, I'm also a proud Jamaican. All right, I live in Britain. I'm also a proud Jamaican. There's no doubt. Okay, so I recognize that. But in reality, though, even that identity was created by somebody else. Even in reality, therefore, we as grown men should not continue to have ourselves, he says, humiliated by assuming other people's identities. Okay, and therefore we have to forge or stand closer, fetch that which was actually ours. But let me just ask this other question. So why do you think the wealth disparity between the haves and the haves as not has become more acute over time? And is it true that successive governments failed to sufficiently invest in public services such as healthcare, access to clean water, sanitation, schools, skills, and physical infrastructure such as road, rail, and internet services? Okay, is what I'm describing accurate? That in fact the wealth disparity is becoming worse, and in fact governments, whichever colour, have not invested sufficiently in public services. Is that a reasonable analysis of what's happened the past 60 years?
You speak about the haves and the have-nots. And there's some statistics relating to our beloved country. You know, sometimes we talk a lot from an emotional perspective, but it takes on a completely different dimension when you speak to some numbers. Because if if I can identify, if I can quantify, then I might be able to at least solve it. And two of these statistics, one of them is that, you know, the last couple of days, on Monday, I was in an almost forgotten community. I suspect the only reason the roads are the way they are, and all of that, is because there are not enough votes up there. And in speaking to that very little audience, before I come back to the central theme, I asked the question, and I do this frequently across Jamaica: money in a Jamaica, put up your hand. Some people not only put up one hand, they put up two hands. And if given chance, they put up 2 feet.
Yes.
And then I asked the next question: those of you who get your share, put up your hand. Now they're sitting on their hands. Now, that is almost anecdotal. But the fact of the matter is that about 12% or so, maybe a little bit more, of Jamaicans control 80% of the wealth.
Correct. Or less
That's a
than 12%,
reality.
in fact. I believe it's less than 12%. I thought it's closer to 6%, to be honest with you, sir. But,
and when we give poverty statistics, like they like to do from the, political platform, or rate of job recruit, it sometimes it sometimes does not mirror the actuality of how wealth is allocated. And that's the hardest working, most protected Jamaicans are often the poorest. Yes. Also, another one is that over 40% of the Jamaican economy is underground. Yes. Did you know that? Almost 40%
taxes and so on. Yes.
Yes. And we label a good number of these persons who happen to be the best entrepreneurs, we label them hustlers. That's right. Yes. But they operate outside the system. But by that very fact, they do not benefit from some of the resources or the types of assistance that others do. Yes. So the whole premise on which Agency for Inner-City Renewal, AIR, is established is counterintuitive.
Forgive me, Dr. Morgan. I'm definitely going to come on to that organization, but I just wanted to put that question to you, because clearly is responding to my question. That is there an increasing disparity between the haves and have-not? And is it true, I'm postulating, that successive governments, regardless of colour, have not invested sufficiently into public services, such as schools, developing skills, the physical infrastructure, road, rail, and internet? So those are my two questions, you see. And if, depending on how you respond, then I can move on to your response to those two questions. But first of all, is that observation correct? Or should I be less strident in my language? How would you phrase the situation?
Your observation is in fact correct. But earlier in the discourse, you mentioned Jamaica's relationship to an organization that sometimes forget that we are members and we pay subscription, the IMF, for instance. And in the whole restructuring, for instance, of the Jamaican economy, and just to use one indicator, primary surplus, it robs you of making the investments in people. So you balance the budget, but you don't balance lives.
That's right.
You don't make the critical investments in the clean water and the clean air and certainly in the education.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the answer to how, on a macroeconomic level, you escape that kind of guillotine.
Mm-hmm.
Because certainly government will say, we just don't have the resources.
Okay.
And if they try to raise taxes, then their time in government will be short-lived.
Right.
So you kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. I don't mean to simplify the problems that we face today. I maintain with a lively interest what happens in that sphere. I do write a column, over 3,000 now, in the Observer. I've done over 800 of my radio programs, commentary called The Watchman.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that, but if you listen to me, I tend to believe and always go back to the community, to where I am planted.
Okay.
And what can I do?
Okay. Let me put this to
within the system.
Doctor. I'm going to ask you, I'll ask this question more directly then. You're the okay, I'm going to pause it there. Yes, that dialogue got hotter and hotter from that point on, let me tell you, okay? Yes. We will publish the series that connects with that dialogue later today. It is a series I strongly recommend you watch in its entirety. All the references that it was made, or the analysis that was arrived at, is further elaborated on screen to help you follow our dialogue. So as you can see, that was a deep and thorough dialogue, but one that got to the kernel of the issues, as it were. Okay. It's a dialogue truly between two Jamaicans who love the land and want the very best for the land. But we had to discuss these fundamental issues, those elephants in the room. And in doing so, it ensured that our dialogue was hot, feisty at times, push and pull, you notice. Oh yeah, a great man is Dr. Henley. I've got to tell you, it is something else, Dr. Henley Morgan. Yes, I have to tell you, a great man. And with people such as him, men and women such as him, natural innovators, creators, thought provokers, as it were, who can, through their efforts, devise stratagems that can be used to address the most intractable problems, those problems, the most hardest, most difficult problems to tackle. And poverty is a tough one to tackle, and most certainly in Trench Town, where you have generational poverty. And therefore, what he's in nurturing in the people there is a new way of thinking about themselves, most critically, about themselves, about mums to their children, how they perceive their children's future lives, and raising their ambitions for them. In doing so, it's a transformational process that is underway there in Trench Town. But if we were to have 100 Dr. Henley Morgans, operating in Jamaica right now, and assuming the title as social entrepreneurs, people with wealth, people with skills, people with the determination and ability to think out of the box to tackle those intractable social issues. I predict that Jamaica will become an African lion state. Yeah, you have the Asian tiger state, will become an African lion state. We have all the ingredients are right there all the ingredients are right there. And where there's a will, there's a way. There's a tool. We talked about the tools. Where there's a will, there's a way. So watch the podcast series will be published in about 6 hours' time. Watch it. Each and every one of them. They'll be jam-packed full of information that you can use to improve your lives and indeed help others to improve their lives. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I should just remind you again that, of course, we've got the UK Black Entrepreneurs Conference that will be held in a month or two's time in July. Okay, I'm just going to play that quick intro to that conference. I believe we're in the right frame of mind now. Such conferences, which have been hosted by Dr. Carlton Brown, are important steps forward. He sits at the very centre of the African community, the black communities here in Britain's economic vitality, and enabling those who wish to get into business, those with conscience, those with the drive and abilities to find a path into business. Okay, let me just play this for you now. Watch and listen.
The UK Black Business Entrepreneurs Conference of 2026, scheduled Wednesday, July the 8th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Empower, engage, to educate. To attend the event, go to eventbrite.co.uk and search for the UK Black Business Entrepreneur Conference 2026 and take advantage of the exclusive Demotivatorshow discount code BBEC Motivator 26. BBCE Motivator 26. Our pleasure to you.
And there you have it. And there you have it. I hope you found this episode of The Motivator Show both informative and stimulating, entertaining, and indeed truly pleasurable. Share links to this show to others within your network. Share and encourage them. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. It really does help and encourages the YouTube algorithm to spread the word amongst the billion or so YouTube subscribers. It's free to subscribe. It really does help us out. And thank you for those of you who have done so. Your support is greatly appreciated. So I say, until the next time, I'm of course the motivator, because this is where we translate our words into action, and where success is ours for the taking.
This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building. This is not charity. It is strategy. It is nation building.
The story of Jamaica has never been confined to its shores. It lives in Brixton, Toronto, New York and beyond. Wherever Jamaicans have carried their resilience, rhythm and relentlessness, ambition. Yet today a powerful shift is underway. A new generation of the diaspora is turning back, not out of nostalgia, but with purpose. They are returning to build, to invest, to transform the land of their birth. This is not charity, it is strategy, it is nation building. At the centre of this movement stands Dr. Henley Morgan, a man whose life offers both a blueprint and a provocation. His journey is not simply inspiring, it is instructive. It shows what becomes possible when the Jamaican diaspora's knowledge, global exposure and deep local commitment converge with discipline and vision. Dr. Morgan did not approach Jamaica with sentiment alone. He approached it with structure, As founder and executive chairman of the Agency for Inner-City Renewal, or AIR, he rejected the exhausted model of dependency-driven aid and asked a harder question. What if communities like Trenchtown were not problems to be fixed, but assets to be activated? That single shift in thinking changed everything. Through AIR, Dr. Morgan introduced business-orientated solutions to spaces long dominated by charity. Social enterprises replaced handout. Business incubators nurtured local talent. Micro-enterprise support empowered residents to generate income rather than wait for assistance. Cultural revitalization project turned Jamaica's rich musical heritage into an economic engine. What others saw as hardship, he saw as opportunity, raw, unrefined, but filled with potential.
Yes.
Here lies the lesson for the Jamaican diaspora. Too often, returning home is framed as a sacrifice. It is not. Approached correctly, it is one of the most powerful investments a person can make. The Jamaican diaspora carries what Jamaica urgently needs: exposure to global systems, access to capital, networks, and a mindset forged by competition at the highest level. But without structure, that advantage is squandered. Dr. Morgan's work made clear that impact requires organization, not just intention. Dr. Morgan's vision of Jamaica as a social enterprise country is more than a slogan. It's a strategic framework. Imagine a nation where every community challenge is treated as a business opportunity, where unemployment sparks enterprise creation, where culture fuels industry, and where local ownership displaces external dependency. This is not theory. Through his consultation and practical models, Dr. Henley Morgan has shown it can and will be done. His book, My Trenchtown Journey, Lessons in Social Entrepreneurship and Community Transformation, reinforces this message powerfully. It is at once a memoir and a manual, offering hard-won insight to leaders, policymakers, and practitioners alike. It strips away the illusion that transformation is easy, while proving without question that it is achievable. And for the Jamaican diaspora, the implications are clear. Returning to Jamaica must mean more than remittances and occasional philanthropy. Both matter, but neither is sufficient. The future demands builders, individuals willing to establish enterprises, transfer skills, mentor local talent, and embed themselves in the economic life of their communities. It demands people who understand that sustainable change is not delivered from the outside, it is constructed from within. This is a defining moment. Jamaica does not lack talent, it lacks scale. It does not lack ideas, It lacked coordinated execution. Diaspora is uniquely positioned to bridge that gap, but only if it moves beyond passive support and commits to active participation. Dr. Henley Morgan's legacy is a call to action. He has shown that transformation is possible when discipline meets vision, when business meets community, and when purpose overrides comfort. The question now is simple. Will the Jamaican diaspora follow his lead? Because the future of Jamaica will not be decided by circumstance. It will be built by those bold enough to return, not merely to remember where they came from, but to redefine where the nation is going. Praise Jah, Rastafari.